Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have an ASUS ZenBook laptop. This specific one is an ASUS ZenBook UX31E, and in this video I'm gonna go over how you can open it up and how you can clean up the fan and repaste and the heatsink. You should be doing this repaste and cleaning once every year or 2 years, otherwise it's gonna sound like a jet engine or it's gonna overheat and the CPU is gonna over throttle. That means it's going to run on lower speed. By doing any servicing, cleaning up, you're not going to change any configuration in the Windows, so it's totally safe. And you can do this at home under, I would say, 10 minutes max. And it's really easy. So first thing first, you want to power off the laptop, and I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using. Tool number one is a workshop towel. I really recommend you guys to grab this workshop towel. Don't use any microfiber towels or anything like that. The reason is once you put an alcohol on it, and the alcohol is another one, is a 98% plus isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol. Once you spray the alcohol on the towel and you rub on the motherboard, on the components, the towel is going to rip apart very easy. So it will not prevent any damage, and it will prevent any damage on the components, on the capacitors. But if you use a micro towel, stuff like that, it's going to tangle around the components and it can rip the component and damage the motherboard. So it's really highly recommended that you use the workshop towel. So one sheet of workshop towel, alcohol 99% plus or 98%. You need to use your new toothbrush. A good thermal paste is a must. You can use an Arctic MX4, MX5, or you can go overboard and grab yourself the best. The best one is a Thermal Grizzly Extreme or Thermal Grizzly Cryonut. These thermal pastes are really good and high-end thermal pastes. So I'll leave the link in the video description in case you want to purchase yours. The client wants to use the Arctic MX4 in this case. Alright, and after that, pretty much we are set to go. The one last tool is that screwdriver set. I recommend you guys to use the UFIXTEK screwdriver set, as they have one of the best bits out there. These are made out of S2 class steel bit, and we're going to be using a torque number 5. Alright, I recommend you to get some tweezers. Curved tweezers are handy to have. So we're going to make sure it's powered off, and we're going to flip it upside down. We're going to remove all the screws. All the screws are the same size and height, except the 2 screws in the back mid. So we're going to remove these 2 screws at the back mid, as they are the really long screws. And we're going to keep them in a separate pile. Now we're going to go from the one corner and we're going to remove the rest of the screws. Also, if you guys like my videos, if you find my videos helpful and helping you guys out through your own service, you can support the channel by clicking the like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. Alright, now that we removed it, we're going to grab the cover from the back side, bring it upward. And you can take it outside and clean up. This one is already clean, so you can just clean yours with or wash it out and leave it for drying. And down here we can see the humongous battery, the fan system, the heatsink, nice tiny heatsink, and the battery connector. First we're going to disconnect the battery by lifting up this gaffer's tape and bring it upward towards the ceiling, just like that. Okay, now we have the power off to the motherboard. We're gonna remove the heatsink and remove the fan. Before we remove the thing, we need to remove this bridge right in here from the motherboard, goes to this extra I/O side. By lifting up this black cover upward 90 degrees, this side too, 90 degrees upward, or use your fingernail, and slide it out, put it to one side. You're going to disconnect the fan cable. Don't pull on the cables. Use your finger or your tweezers, put it beside the jack, and pull them back. So that way you don't damage the cable. Now we're going to grab our screwdrivers, and we're going to grab a Phillips number 0. We're going to remove 2 screws for the fan. And the fan is loose. Now we're going to remove 5 screws for the heatsink, 4 for the CPU, and 1 for the PCH chip right in the corner. So go ahead and remove these screws. All the screws are the same size and height again, so don't worry about mismatching them. Alright, now that we remove all the screws, what you want to do, you want to grab it closer to the CPU, the heatsink, and then you want to wiggle it around a little bit and lift it up. And there we have it. They have a little thermal pad on the PCH chip and thermal paste that is dried out on the other one. If you want to replace these thermal pads, is a 0.5 millimeter thermal pad. I'll leave again link for a good thermal pads in there. So what you want to do, you want to take it outside and clean up with a toothbrush the excess of dust and clean up the fan just like this and blow some dry air through here. And I'll be back right after this. Now that I clean up the fan, now we're going to clean up the heatsink and the old thermal paste. So we're going to grab a little bit of the workshop towel. We're going to spray it with an alcohol. And we're going to swipe right over the CPU. You don't need to remove this gaffer's tape, this Kapton tape around it. And if you're going to see that there's a thermal paste around it, don't worry about it. Just leave it the way it is. You don't need to. As long as you clean the crystal die on top, you're fine. We're going to clean up the heatsink. I'm going to spray it on top, a little more alcohol. The alcohol helps for it to blend out. Keep rubbing until make sure you don't bend the tubing or anything like that. Now what we're going to do, if you have changed the thermal pad, put a new thermal pad, remove this, put the new one in. But you really don't need to. Put a tiny line on the CPU and bring it out like this. Set it down, make sure the screw holes for the heatsink match. Hold it there. Put the screws, cross screw them, so do this and cross screw them always and put this one at the last. So that way the thermal paste is going to spread evenly across the CPU die. And there we have it. Now we're going to put the 2 screws for the fan. Grab the jack and slide it inside the connector right there for the fan. Grab the I/O bridge, motherboard, I/O. So make sure this one, the lock is opened. You slide it straight right in there, all the way in, gently, and lock it down. Same thing in this side. Bring it down, gently all the way in, and lock it down. Once you have all this set, all you want to do, grab the power connector for the jack, for the battery, bring it evenly over the jack and push it down towards the motherboard. And the last thing down here is to grab your bottom cover that you already cleaned, and you want to set it down straight over, just like that, and switch back to torque number 5, and put the 2 long screws at the back mid and the short screws all around. Again, I hope you guys like this video and helped you guys to do your own service for your ASUS ZenBook UX31E. If you have any question or requests, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm just going to finish up putting up the rest of the screws.